Greetings everyone, Mr. Craft here in this second video of a three-part series. For this video we're going to be taking a look at Etruscan temples, or at least one Etruscan temple. We're getting a little bit closer to the Roman temples, which are going to be the focus of our build. And so because the Etruscans were an Italic people, and because we do have one Etruscan temple that's already in our Roma build, I wanted to discuss this also because it's going to help us understand how the development of the architecture of Roman temples came about. That plus the Greek temples in the first video that we did. So here we go. We have two terms that are going to be coming up very often when we're doing our research, whether we're looking for an Etruscan temple or a Roman temple. And so we have templum, which out of all caps just results in templum. And then we have ides, so out of caps will just be ides. Just real quick, the word templum is going to give us our word temple. It originally meant basically just a sacred place. The word ides is also going to be used to mean temple, meaning a place for the worship of a god or goddess, but the word ides did not itself mean only a sacred or holy place. In fact, this is the word that is going to come from the verb edificare, meaning to construct, to build, and it's going to give us words in English like an edifice. So the word ides in its original form simply just meant a building, although it's going to appear in your research as a word that could be used, and sometimes it is used interchangeably with the word templum or the English version temple. So enough of that. Let's take a look at the Etruscan temple. Now, we have seen this temple before. This is the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus on the Capitoline Hill. And so I'm going to try to point out some of the differences between an Etruscan temple and a Greek temple, which we have seen and which is sitting over here right next to it. So the first thing you're going to notice is the gigantic size of this thing. Looks are a little bit deceiving because Etruscan temples, different from Greek temples, sat on a high platform. So if we look here at the Greek temple, we see that it's sitting on a platform that's maybe 2 meters, maybe a meter high. They weren't very tall at all. However, the Etruscans, they really wanted to elevate their buildings. So, and I believe I said in another video, this was going to be somewhere around 4 meters tall, the podium. Again, a very large one. The little almost coffin-looking altars that we see here were because many of the sacrifices were going to be performed outside of the temple. Now, some sacrifices would be held inside, like we would see in Greek temples, but very often a lot of the sacrifices are going to be held outside for the reason that many people weren't allowed to go into the sacred rooms which are dedicated to the gods or goddesses. So again, we have basic temple construction, rectangular. The Etruscans tended to do more of a Doric style, so this is what I've sought to reproduce here with just a very simple layer of block on the outside. We have a very wide spacing between the columns. This is called areostylos, so just a very wide spacing. A term that's going to come to us from Vitruvius. I believe it's book 3 of his De Architectura, where he talks about Etruscan temples. Now, the columns that we see here seem to go around, but they actually don't. They do not go all the way around. They do come up on the sides, but then they stop in the very back of the temple is just a flat wall, which is going to be quite a bit different from the Greek temple. Also different from the Greek temple is if we look here at the center, we see that we have not one but 3. We have a tripartite cell or cella. So because this Etruscan temple was dedicated to the Capitoline Triad. So we had three deities that were to reside inside of this temple and were worshipped in here. But the basic structure of the rest of the temple is not much different. So again, we have the columns. We have a higher platform. Another thing we'll notice is that we have stairs here that are just in the front, because we had a facade focus, a focus on the front of the building, and that's probably another reason why they didn't put any decoration on the back or any columns. They just had a flat wall back there because the focus was the front of the building. Now, if we go up here to the top, so again, very colorful. The Greek temple that I showed you all also would have been colorful, probably more so than what I was able to find in my research. But then we're also going to see something reappearing, and that's going to be these little statues, these little figurines that are going to go across the top of the temple, and are also going to go across the top of the frieze here. These little, if you recall, these were called the Equitaria, and the Etruscans really went out when it came to decorating their temples with this. Their pediment, however, they tended to leave open, and this had a lot to do with the material that they used. They used a lot of wood and mud brick in the construction of their temples. And this is another reason why they're able to make the thing so huge. They don't have these massive weights resting upon columns, which would crumble under such heavy weight. The Etruscan temple, then, as we can see here, is one that's got a lot of similarities, but also quite a few differences from its I guess we might go so far as to say predecessor, the Greek temple. And what I'm going to show you on the next video are Roman temples and how they sort of acted to be a sort of combination of Etruscan and Greek temples. So that's it for this short video. I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing everyone again soon. Walete.